Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph. I'm so glad you're here. Today is July 10th, Thursday, and it has been nearly a month since I recorded last time, my last regular episode. I did post part 2 to that episode at the end of June. It was supposed to go up the next day, and then June decided, hold my beer, let's make this interesting. So it didn't get up till the end of the month. And I had fully intended on recording this episode earlier in July. But again, life had other options, or other thoughts, other ideas. Okay, let's go with that. Anyway, I don't want to belabor that, and I do not want to start out with everything that has been going absolutely chaotically in my life, because that's not how I want to start this podcast. What I do want to do is I want to talk to you about what's going on now, the good things, and then at the very end of the podcast, if I have time, I will go into some of the life stuff if you're interested. So anyway, all that said, you'll find show notes in the drop-down menu below the video here on YouTube. I also post them to the Ravelry group. I try to post them to my blog on the Fiber Nymph Dye Works website. I do not always get them up there, and I think the last few episodes I have not gotten up there. I apologize for that. That being said, based on my analytics, I don't think too many people ever really actually look at those anyway. So if you do look at them, please let me know if that's your preferred place, and I will make a much better effort at trying to get them up there. Let's see what else. All the links for all the places that you can find me are down below in those show notes. And I also have a membership here on YouTube where you get an extra video, a members only video once a month. And I've started to add a members only post about once a week. The first one went out last week. I have the next one almost ready to go up, so that'll be going up soon. Just, a little added benefit for helping to support the channel, because I really appreciate that. We're in my office, in case you can't tell by the crazy background, and I'll be honest, I have no idea what you can actually see back there on my bulletin boards. If there's anything with swear words that you can actually pick out, just ignore them. I have a plethora of strange things back there. It's very late in the day. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. This is the room right now that I can access that has decent light, so I'm hoping this will work out. My mom and her husband are visiting right now, and they're in our bedroom, and all their stuff's everywhere, so I couldn't go in there to record. And it is too freaking hot for me to be out on the deck to try to record tonight. So this is what we got. I apologize for the strange lighting, because clearly the sun is going to do something odd to me as we go through this. But I'm hoping to get through this expediently, so it won't be quite as big a deal. Okay, anyway, I'm looking at my show notes. That's why I keep looking down. Some more specific announcements. This month-long break that I have taken was totally unintentional. Again, just several curveballs this past month. Just a lot. Thankfully, things seem to be looking up in all manners of speaking. So fingers crossed that is a continuation. And you know what? Today's the full moon. I think it was right before 5 o'clock tonight here Eastern time. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this. Full moons for me are very much about release and like this whole building up. And then you get there and it's like, I physically felt that today. Like right around that time, I was like, and I almost burst into tears. That's the kind of month it's been. So anyway, okay, announcements about shop stuff. Number one, club is done. June club went out very late, 10 days late. I apologize. I did notify everybody. I sent out a newsletter specifically to the club members, letting you know what was going on, that life was making me late on this. I appreciate your patience, but it's all en route at this point. I am still catching up on some pre-orders and dye-to-order items that are coming very perilously close to being later than I would want them to be, but hopefully they will be going out, if not by the end of this week, the very beginning of next week. Today, the July Year of Gnomes collaboration kits that I'm a part of with Adorn It, Steph from Adorn It, and Sarah from Imagine Landscapes, those went live in Steph's shop today. I know the last time I looked, there were still some sets available. So if you are looking for those kits, you can check out, go to the Adorn It shop. I will include that link. By the time I get this up, I can't guarantee they're going to be up there, to be honest with you. They usually sell out within the first 24 hours. So chances are by the time I get this up, they might already be gone, but I will check. And if there are still some available when I upload this, I will put the link to that. Excuse me. I have several projects that I was planning to have launched in my shop by this point in the summer. And again, because I have lost so much time in the studio due to everything else going on, they just have not happened yet. I'm not going to sit here and name them and tease you with them. Just know that I do have things waiting in the wings to get out there to you. And I really do hope that that will happen soon. But again, I just beg your patience as I try to deal with life stuff in our family right now. So meanwhile, there is a lot of in-stock stuff left from my shop. Lots of kits. There's still a fair, there's not a lot, I won't say a lot, but there's still a fair few shorty sock sets from the shop, from the show. Inversibles, there's not too many expanded inversibles left at this point. And I'm pretty sure that almost all of the color block gradients are gone. There's maybe one or two left. What else? There's fiber left. If you want some new fiber, I've still got fiber. And there's always some self-striping, you know, regular self-striping skeins in stock. Maybe not a whole lot of any one thing, but there's always a lot of variety with one or two skeins available. So if any of that's of interest to you, please go check out the shop for that. And as always, being subscribed to my newsletter is the best way to find out when new things are coming or events are happening, or if I'm doing a sale. But I usually offer my newsletter subscribers a better discount than the general public sale. I did do a summer sale over the past month. When did I do it now? Time has no meaning. I think I did it the week prior to the 4th of July through that weekend. So if you are in my newsletter, thank you so much for shopping that sale. I know a lot of you did, as well as anybody else who shopped it, who I posted on social media. So, all right, that is everything announcement-wise. Let's get into the crafting, because despite the fact that it's been sort of cray-cray here, I have managed to get some things finished, and the first one I'm wearing, and I'm so excited. This is my double crochet lace top that I started last August, I believe. I'm going to stand up and back up so you can see it. I'm going to try to not make a ton of noise with this chair. Okay. Hang on. There we go. Ta-da! Gotta find good light again. It is finished. I believe I was on the back when I talked to you last. The front had been finished. I was on the back. And I finished it in fairly short order, to tell you the truth. This is not a pattern of any type. This is inspired by a top that Mars from Hey Brownberry had made a year or two ago. And I just sort of did my own thing to recreate it, and then added my own thing to it. Mars's was basically two squares seamed together at the shoulders, and I think that was kind of it. I obviously did some neckline shaping here because I didn't want it to be straight up across here. I also did some shoulder shaping in the back. I inadvertently made the back a little longer than the front, and it's not the rows. I have the same number of rows, but because of the amount of time between when I first started it and when I picked it back up again and was working on it, I think my gauge changed. I was crocheting this on, oh, the yarn is Araucania Ranco, which is a discontinued yarn. I've had it in my stash forever and ever. I do not remember the colorway name, but it's this beautiful rusty red. Anyway, it's a fingering weight yarn, and I was using an E hook. I started on an E hook and I ended up going down to a D hook because I was afraid it was going to be too wide. And so when I did the back, I did that same thing. I started on an E, went down to a D. First, oh, I think I just spit at you. I'm so sorry. When I was working on the back, I realized that I actually chained on too many stitches, so I was making it wider than it needed to be anyway. So I did do some decreases, but I did them like, imagine this is my back. I did them like along here, along where the neckline was going to be, as opposed to on the outside. I thought that would look better, and I am happy with how it looks back there. Anyway, when I was finished, I seamed the shoulders. I didn't really know what I was going to do as an edging. I ended up just doing a single crochet around the neckline, and that looks great. I did that also around the sleeves. My original plan for seaming the sides, obviously I seamed the sides before I did the edging on the sleeves. My original plan was I was going to leave it as like a split seam, especially since the back was a little longer than the front. But Bill and I were watching a movie at the time, and I totally wasn't paying any attention, and I just seamed it. And so the back, I just spit again, oh my gosh. Sorry. The back is about like an inch longer than the front, and you know what? I do not care. I'm so happy to have this done. I did actually wear it once already. We went to go see the Lord of the Rings at the Symphony, you know, where the symphony plays and the movies on the big screen. It was okay. Honestly, I just as soon stay home and watch the movies because it was the theatrical release, not the extended release. And when you already know all of the words to the extended release, it's really... Anyway. I wore it that day. I didn't have a tank top on under it though. I was wearing it over like a jumper. It looked kind of weird, but it was fine. I didn't actually even block it. It's just as it is, but I do have all my ends woven in, which is exciting because sometimes I forget to weave one in and then you're wearing it and one was pooping out somewhere. Anyway, so it is finished. I have not taken the pretty pictures of it yet. I still have to do that, but they'll be coming. In short, though, I am very, very happy to have this finished. I've actually finished a garment. I think this might be my only garment that I've finished this year. Is that true? I'll have to go back and look. Anyway, yay, finished garment. Okay, what else? Okay, socks. I have finished some socks. Most of them are not on sock blockers, but that's okay. You know what socks look like when they're on sock blockers. All right, so this is my Gnome Place Like Home socks, or colorway. I did these on my Traveler Sport weight base, and you did see the one finished. I was working on the second last time, and so now these are both done. Happy, nothing really exciting to tell you. It's my usual 2x1 rib, slip stitch, heel flap, heel turn, gusset, toes. I really didn't do any yarn management for the stripes on this one. I just let them be what they were going to be, and it was fine. So those are finished. Then I had my darker side of pie shorty socks that I was working on. These are going to be a birthday gift for my daughter. And here they are. Ooh, look how nicely the sun is showing off that waffly stitch. That looks nice. Yay for lighting, unintentional as it is. All right, so this is the the striping is my darker side of pie colorway. So that's it's actually one of my early pie colorways. It is in the shop for as a die to order right now. I don't know if there's any in-stock skeins. Anyway, so yeah, and then I used soft black as the heels and toes, the heel flap and the toe yarn. So And I did this also as I started it out as my normal 2x1 rib, but then I decided why not try that waffle stitch that I had been using on all those hats that I still haven't written up. And I really like how it turned out, especially now that I'm seeing it in this light. Oh my gosh, so nice. This is my bedazzled base. You can see the sparkle in the sunlight really well too. That's so cool. Yay. And there's some Babette hair. Okay, that's nice too. So anyway, happy to have these finished. Her birthday is next month, so. All right, those are 2 pairs of finished socks. Then I had alluded last time that I had secret projects going on that I wasn't going to be able to talk to you about until this month. And I can talk to you about 2 of them now. One of them is another pair of socks. Both of them are related to the Year of Gnomes July kits that just went up in the Adorn It shop today that I just mentioned. I dyed Shorty sock sets for this one. So it was a 50-gram skein of self-striping, which is called Summer Gnomes, and then 3 coordinating semi-solid mini skeins. And I decided, I always knit a sample. Like I've done that for the past several years. Like if I do a new self-striping, I like to knit a sample so you can see what it looks like. But because this is actually, this collaboration is also about being able to knit gnomes, I wanted to be able to illustrate that you could use this Shorty sock set with these 3 minis, not only to do a pair of Shorty socks, but also to do a gnome. And so that is what I set out to do. So this is the socks. This is the pair of socks. So the self-striping colorway, I don't know if it's just because of the sun. Like every time I talk, I can just, I swear, I don't usually spit. I don't know why I'm doing it tonight. Okay. Gosh. The striping pattern is called Summer Gnomes. And then the 3 coordinating semi-solids are this yellow, which is actually the same yellow that is in the striping pattern. The other 2 are not actually in the striping pattern. So we've got this brown, which is called Scary Greige, S-K-E-R-R-I-E, and then this dark blue that is darker than this blue. So yeah, I really loved how they turned out. I did make my cuffs just, I think I made them about, I want to say 4 rounds shorter than I would normally do on Shorty socks for me, just because I wanted to make sure that I had enough for the gnome. And I did, and I could have actually done the full length and it would have been fine. Anyway, so these cuffs are about 1.5 inches instead of 2 inches. So anyway, that's the socks. And then I made a gnome. Guys, I finally made a gnome. I've been talking about making a gnome for how long now? And I finally made one. Look at her. Oh my gosh, I need to get her in good light. There we are. Isn't she adorable? Her name is Gnellie, G-N-E-L-L-I-E, and this is the gnome from Sarah Shira's Oh Gnome You Didn't pattern, which was, oh no, you didn't just design a gnome that doesn't have a beard, but it's a girl, she doesn't have a beard. So anyway, it was so much fun to make. I didn't know what to expect because I've heard people who like making gnomes saying how fussy and fidgety they are sometimes, especially like the little hats and the, like we've got pockets and little arms and all this stuff and a nose that, you know, and yes, there were a few fussy pieces, but I enjoyed all of it. I never got to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this now. You know, like I never felt that way. I really, really loved making this little gnome. I'm so happy with her. So anyway, once again, I was able to get all of this out of the set that is in the Summer Gnome set in the July Year of Gnomes kits. Now, the only downside to me talking about this an awful lot is the fact that once those kits are sold out, this colorway will never be available again. All of the colorways and the bags that Stuff's making and the markers and stuff, everything is exclusive to these Year of Gnome kits. which makes me a little sad, but that was our decision and that's how it is. So anyway, if you do get one of the kits though, you can make a set like this. If you don't, any other shorty sock set or self-striping skein that you pair up with some minis, you can definitely get a pair of shorty socks and a gnome, and you can match, which is so much fun. All right. Lastly? Yes, it is last. This is the last thing I'm going to show you. Is also a finished object, and this one I actually started back in March, early March. It was a hat, and I started it, and then I ended up ripping the needles just unceremoniously out of it because I needed to take the needles with me when we were on vacation. I needed them for a project I was going to be taking there. So this hat sat with like, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches of ribbing just sitting there, loose stitches flapping in the breeze. And I really did assume that when I got home, I was just going to rip it out and start over making something else. However, I didn't, and it sat in its project bag, and I came across it last week. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. So I got needles out, and I just picked up all the stitches, which they were kind enough to not like run or come out. And I just started knitting it again. So the first 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches, I did on US 5s, and then I moved up to US 6s. Sometimes I increased stitches at that point. I did not do that on this. This is not a pattern per se. This is just my own thing. I cast on 96 stitches. I did 4x1 rib, which is actually pretty weird for me. I don't do 4x1 rib very often, but I do like how it looks. So I just continued the 4x1 rib up the whole way to where I was going to start doing the decreases, and then I kind of made up my own patterning for the decreases. You can see them, like you can see how that falls in there, how those stockinette columns decrease in a kind of staggered way. I really kind of like it. I don't know if it's unique enough to actually kind of try to write it into a pattern or not, but I liked how it worked. And here, I will put it on for you. Okay, I know the lighting is getting a little weird here. There is a very slight amount of nipple head going on here, but just slightly. It's not horrible. So yeah, I like it. It's either going to be a charity hat or I'm going to give it to my mom, because my mom and her husband and some of their family are going on a cruise to Alaska later this month, and she said, I need to take a hat. I don't know how cold it gets in Alaska at this time of year, but I said, sure, you can have a hat, because I've got a lot of them to choose from. So I don't know if she'll want this one or one of the other ones, but that's the plan. This colorway was my 2023 Suicide Prevention Month colorway called Stay, and I did actually knit this into a different hat at one point, but it was a hat that had to be doubled in on itself, and I ran out of yarn to make it long enough, so I had to rip it completely out, and I used it for this. I do have some left over, but I really do love this colorway. I should put this in the shop again at some point. So anyway, alrighty, so that is my only other finished object. I'll be honest with you, at this point, I don't really have much on the go that I'm actively working on. My Soft Currents wrap, I did pull that out again and looked at it, and I'm really tempted to just rip it out because I made a mistake early on. I kept telling myself it wasn't going to bother me. It's not something that's able to be fixed by dropping down. And even at the point that I realized I made the mistake, I couldn't have done that. I could have ripped back easier and fixed it at that point, but I kept going. And now I know I have 2 dropped stitches that will not be easy to fix because there's lace after them. So I'm really thinking I may end up just ripping that out. I might, I don't know. We'll see. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I'm not feeling optimistic. The problem is right now I am not feeling excited about any project. I did cast on another hat this morning after I finished the Stay hat, but I only have like 3 rounds, and it'll be a charity hat. It's just with some leftover yarn. So I mean, there's always hats, right? There are always hats. I can work on a hat. It doesn't matter if I'm enthusiastic about it or not. It's just I like knitting hats. Kind of like I used to like knitting socks. Hats seem to have replaced my socks for that reason. You know, I do still have my legacy socks on the go. They're still on the first one. A legacy was my anniversary colorway last year. I love the colorway, and I have no idea why I just can't work on that project right now. It's the Heel Toe Do-Si-Do pattern by Kay Litton. I've made them before. I love the pattern. I love the colorway. I just am not feeling it right now. So they're out there, and it's funny because I keep carrying that project around with me when I go places. I'm like, oh, I might need something to knit on, and I never touch it. So I will get back to it eventually. But anyway, haven't warped my loom. I haven't spun. I fully intended to spin for Tour de Fleece this year. I knew pretty much what I wanted to spin. I have a bin in my stash room that has a bunch of fiber that I had put together as a combo spin, and I thought that's what I'm going to do. Everything just went haywire, and I have still not touched my wheels at all. At all. So anyway, I need to find a project that will engage me. Just nothing is calling to me. I do have some gift knits coming up though. I have a pair of socks that I need to make for someone. I don't need to, but I want to make for someone. I need to dye the yarn for those first though. And then I have 2 blanket projects that I am planning to make as Christmas gifts, which you're probably thinking, Lisa, you might want to get started on those. And you are right. I probably should start those. I have to figure out colors, and I want to make that one from stash though. I don't want to dye yarn for those 2 blankets. So I just need the time to be able to look for yarn for those. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do corner to corner crochet blankets. I really like doing corner to corner, and I think that'll be a good thing. Right now, when I do want to work on something, I really kind of want to crochet. Crochet is so rhythmic and very calming and meditative for me right now. I almost started another one of those fair weather cows the other day. I'm like, oh my gosh, how many more of these can I possibly make? I mean, I know I could keep making them and I can just put them in the donate pile, but like, I really need to figure out something else that I like to crochet that's not that. So we'll see. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. I did finish painting my bookcase. Remember me talking about my new bookcase? We bought a bookcase last summer, unfinished. We were gonna finish it over the winter. Didn't do that. I started it right before Bill got home from his motorcycle trip out to his sister's in March, and it took me almost 3 months to finish it. And we were finally like, oh my gosh, we need to recoup this space in our basement where it was all laying out. And I'm like, I know. So I finally did finish it. It's in my bedroom. I think I have pictures I can put in here so you can see it. I am so happy with how it turned out. I got it in there shortly before my mom was coming though, so I didn't really get a chance to put everything on it that's going to be on it or arrange it how I want it. But I'm really, really happy with how it turned out, even though the painting process was absolutely miserable. Just, I did not enjoy the painting process of that piece of furniture at all. But it's done now and I'm happy with it. So, and I have been doing a little bit of other painting, like my little fun painting, just not nearly as much as I had been doing. Again, it's mostly time. And then when I do have the time, I'm just too tired. I'm too tired to have the brain space to think about painting. Sometimes I will just sit with a pen, like one of my black pens, and do just kind of doodly stuff. And it's fine too. That's what I can do. But anyway, that's what's going on there. We do have our Choose Your Own Adventure Make-Along, which the second quarter ended at the end of June. And that's why I wanted to be able to make this video before now. But hey, better late than never, right? Anyway, I have prize winners to announce. if you're not familiar, the Choose Your Own Adventure Make Along is exactly that. You get to choose what you want to do this year. It is never too late to join in. I will put the links to where you can find a description of it in the Ravelry group, also on my blog in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works website. And I have a video that I did here, an intro video. So it's never too late to join in. You're always welcome to come and be a part of it. I don't know that I have really done much that was on my list that I wanted to do lately, other than finishing this top. I'm sure was probably on there in some way. Working with, oh, I'm so sorry, I just kicked my tripod. I'm trying to get out of the sun a little bit. Here, let's turn. How's that? Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, I finished this. That was probably on there. Working with hand spun, or not hand, well, that was probably on there too. I haven't really worked with hand spun. Working with leftovers, using stash, making charity items 1 a month. Those things I have been doing. So I guess I don't feel too bad. But one of my other things was trying a new recipe once a week, which I have absolutely not done once a week. I think I've done 17 to date. And I'm sure there's more than 17 weeks in this year already, but some really good ones that I did, and I can't remember where I left off telling you about them. I did this garlic butter pasta, which was so good. I did modify it, and anything that I'm talking about with pasta, it's either gluten-free pasta or it's this one pasta brand that is from a company that's near us. It's Delalo's. I don't know how far Delalo's is distributed, but I know it's definitely here in Western Pennsylvania. And a lot of their pasta is actually made and imported from Italy, and they don't put the crap in it, like all the preservatives and other additives to it, and that seems to make a difference for me. It does not bother me as much. I can eat that even though it is made with wheat. Anyway, so that's, if I'm talking about pasta, that's what I'm talking about. So the garlic butter pasta, I think I did add like maybe shrimp to that or something and some extra veggies, but it was really good. I will link the recipes in the show notes. I made raspberry crumble bars because I bought 2 pints of raspberries that looked absolutely fine in the store, and then the next morning we went to eat them and we're like, ooh, they're really, really squishy. So I had to do something with them, and I made these raspberry crumble bars. I made them, I used a regular recipe. I made them gluten-free by using, you know, a gluten-free flour, 1-to-1 flour, and they were so good. Oh my gosh, I loved them. Bill did not care for them. He thought they were a little too sweet, but I really liked them, and I ate them all. Not in one sitting. Creamy lemon zucchini pasta. That was another one that I heavily modified based on what ingredients I had here in the house. I've found a lot of recipes that call for milk I can't make because I don't keep milk in the house anymore. Ever since Emma moved out, she was the only one who really drank milk, and I don't like to keep it on hand because we don't use it very often. I don't use it to cook with very often, and I end up pitching it even if I buy a small container. So what I found, what I like to do is if something calls for milk, I mean, unless it was like 2 cups or something, but if it's just a small amount of milk, I will take sour cream, and like if it calls for a cup of milk, I will take a half a cup of sour cream and water it down with water, and that's what I use for milk, and it's really good. I did that, and then the last one was air fryer chicken cordon bleu, which I made obviously for Bill because I don't eat chicken, but I wanted to make something different because I feel like I make him the same things all the time, and I had all of the ingredients for the chicken cordon bleu. I substituted provolone for the Swiss though because he does not like Swiss cheese, but he said it was really, really good, and so that was a win. So yay, 4 new recipes. I'm planning to try to make pretzel salad while my mom's here. I have not had pretzel salad in years, and I'm going to make a gluten-free version with gluten-free pretzels. But we were at a graduation party for a daughter of a friend of Bill's a few weeks ago, and they had these little parfait cups, and the one parfait cup was basically pretzel salad in a modified form. It was so good. I'm like, I want to make this. So I have all the stuff. I might make it while they're here, but I also bought a bunch of desserts just so that we had things because I didn't have time to bake before they got here. So we'll see if I have time to make those. Anyway, all right, so the Choose Your Own Adventure Make Along prize winners. I know, I was going to get to that, wasn't I? We have 3 prizes that I'm going to award. Let me tell you what your prize is. If you are one of these 3 prize winners, please go to my shop and look at the yarn and pattern kits. As I said, there are a lot of them, and you can choose any one of those yarn and pattern kits as your prize. Let me know your, I would say your top 2 choices. No, well, you know what? I always say 3. Let me know your top 3 choices, and that way, if somebody else has already claimed one and that was the last one, you'll still get one, okay? And I will just be happy to send that to you. So when you know you're a winner, please email me, lisa@fibrenymphdyeworks.com. Let me know that you know you're the winner. Let me know what your top 3 prize choices are and your mailing address if you think I don't have it. Some of you, I probably have it because I know you order from me regularly enough. But to be safe, just include your address. It'll make life easier. All right, so second quarter winners, chatter winner in the Ravelry thread. We had post number 1039 through 1611. That was April through June. Random number generator chose post number 1144, and that is Sarah, who is PA Knitwit. So congratulations, Sarah. Sarah is always a wonderful participant in our make-alongs, and she makes so many cool things. Anyway, congratulations, Sarah. I love to see what you're doing in the make-alongs, and that was just a reply post that she had. So anyway, it's a thing. You can win things just for chatting. All right, second one is for the finished objects thread. We had post number 52 through 86 in those 3 months, and the winner was post number 77, and that is Dory, who is ddor4, and she posted a spinning project that she finished. So congratulations, Dory. Thank you so much for participating. Lastly, we have our Instagram winner, and as I always say, Instagram continues to frustrate me. They've changed how things get posted yet again. At least they did for me when I was looking things up. As far as I can tell, there were 149 posts tagged with the hashtag that we are using, which is FDW Adventure 2025. Anyway, so I was able to go in and I did the random number generator post 1 through 149, and it chose 146, which was easy enough to find. It was a post by Sunnyside Knitter, who is Laura Lee, and she posted a beautiful pair of West Yorkshire Spinner socks. It was a post from January. Now, the thing about Instagram, as long as your Instagram post was posted this year and is tagged with our hashtag, it doesn't matter what quarter it's from, because it's just too hard. There's no way to chronologically filter the posts. So as long as it hadn't been picked as a winner prior, it's still eligible. Sorry, I have hair in my mouth. So anyway, Laura Lee, congratulations. I know you didn't enjoy working on those socks apparently, but they're very, very nice socks. So congratulations. Yeah, now if you want to see when the post was, after you pick it, after you've gone through tags, you have to actually go to the person's page and like scroll down and see, and then find it there, and then it'll tell you when it was posted. Crazy. Like Instagram, get your stuff together. Just that's all I have to say. Anyway, so July, we are in the 3rd quarter now, and that will run through the end of September. So again, it's never too late to join in. Come chatter with us, post on Instagram, use the hashtag. We'd love to have you be a part of it. So, all right, that is everything crafty wise and the adventure mail. Life stuff, I'm just gonna go through this real quick. I recorded last time, things were fine. Shortly thereafter, my son texts me one morning, hey, I'm in the hospital. He had gotten admitted the day before. He left work. He'd been sick all weekend, hadn't felt good. We were actually supposed to get together that weekend. And he's like, yeah, I don't really feel good. I'm going to stay home. Okay. Went to work Monday, left work partway through the day Monday, went to an urgent care. They're like, oh, you need to go to the emergency room. Sent him to the emergency room. They admitted him. He had an abscess in his abdominal wall. Not a good thing to have. Long story short there, they kept him for 6 days. He was on IV antibiotics. They had to drain the abscess. And then when they released him, he was, on pill antibiotics. He was supposed to stay off work the rest of that week, and then he could go back to light duty, which he works in a machine shop. Light duty is a little difficult, but his company is really nice. They're always very good to him, and they're like, yep, we'll work with you. So he went back to work. He was there one day. He went in the next day, and he's like, I feel horrible. And he called the doctors and told them what was going on, and they're like, yep, you need to get back in here to the hospital. And so they admitted him a second time, and he was in another 6 days. The abscess apparently had come back. I don't know if it's the same spot or if it was in a different area. Chris said it sort of felt like it was maybe in a different area, but it's hard to tell. And I don't have those details because I wasn't the one talking to his doctors. Obviously, he's an adult. Anyway, so they ended up doing surgery this time to do a more extensive type of draining of this abscess. I won't go into those gory details for you. He again was on the IV antibiotics and in for 6 days, and then they're finally like, okay, you can go home. We're going to give you pills, antibiotics again to stay on. I think a stronger dose. He has to be off work for 2 more weeks and then see the surgeon again, and then he can go back to work in some capacity. At this point, he has already burned up his entire year's vacation and the few personal days he gets. So I know I am feeling very anxious for him on that front, and hating the fact that people just do not automatically have disability when there's illnesses like this. And I realize that he is far from the only person ever dealing with this. And I know one way or another it'll be okay. We will work through this. But it sucks. It absolutely sucks. The whole situation sucks. As far as what they think caused it, we're still unsure. We don't have a confirmation on anything because he hasn't been able to have any other tests because they need to get this abscess stuff to heal up first. They're guessing, though, that it's probably something Crohn's related that started all this, considering the family history between me and his sister. So anyway, there's a lot more coming for him as far as, treatment and tests and things. So keep my poor son in your thoughts because he gets frustrated. I mean, who wouldn't, right? All right. Anyway, so that's going on. Meanwhile, before Bill and I went on vacation, my left hip and my right ankle had both been really bothering me. My hip is kind of a chronic thing at this point. I know someday I'm probably going to need to have a hip replacement, but I've been pretty good about doing exercises and yoga to keep it strengthened and stretched, and it doesn't bother me too much. My ankle, I had injured it last fall. I feel like maybe I told you this. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. I'd injured it last fall. It healed, and then it flared up again. And with my hip hurting on one side and my ankle hurting on the other side, they were both kind of feeding off each other and making each other worse. And it was really hard, and I just could not catch a break with getting anything to feel better. I was wearing an ankle brace. I was taking a lot of medication trying to keep inflammation down, and I don't like doing that because that messes with my Crohn's. Anyway, finally, I'd say about a week and a half ago, maybe going on 2 weeks, I finally found a different set of stretching, yoga, somatic Pilates kind of videos online that I thought, what, I'm going to try these. I've been doing this other one all the time. It used to help. It's not. So I tried this other one. I swear within 2 days, I felt so much better. I don't know if it's fully because of the videos that I was doing and those particular workouts, but it has to be part of the answer, because I didn't really change much of anything else except one of the medications. I stopped taking one and started taking a different thing. That also obviously could be playing into it, but I don't think it's the whole answer. So anyway, I'm super happy. The channel is called Jazz Pilates, Jaz. I don't know where she's from, but I love her videos. They are so relaxing, and the pace of these exercises is slower. I don't like fast yoga. I know there is fast yoga. I've never done fast yoga. I don't like it. So I normally do slower workouts, but these that she does, they're very small motions, but they pack a big punch. And maybe that's the Pilates aspect of it. I don't really know much about Pilates. But this has been wonderful. So, you know, knock on wood, I feel like I've really rounded a corner on this and I feel so much better. So yay. The fact that it has not constantly been raining also, I'm sure is helping, because I'll tell you what, we had probably what felt like a month of rain. Oh, what else? I already told you we did go see Fellowship of the Ring. Did I say? Yeah, I did. With the symphony, and they play the movie. It was okay. I said I don't need to go see Two Towers. We'll just watch it at home and watch the longer version and have snacks. It'll be good. Right now, I'm just honestly trying to not drown emotionally, energetically, because it has been a battle. Can't deny that. It's been a battle. But my mom is visiting right now. They just got here on Tuesday, and she's out right now with some friends of hers from when she used to live up here. So that's why I have this little window of time that I can record. And it's so nice having her here. I did have to work pretty much all day today because I had to finish up getting the club packed up and shipped out. But now I think for the rest of the time she's here, I mean, I still have to do a little bit of work, but I can spend more time with her, and I'm so happy for that. So anyway, and her husband, I say my mom, but I mean, obviously my stepdad's here too. So yeah, we're having a nice time. My garden is actually doing pretty well right now. I don't think I got to talk too much about it last time. I've managed to keep the weeds pretty well under control this year. My potatoes are growing really well. Onions, not as well, but I have a lot of onions coming up, and we have eaten some of those. We had some heavy rains right after I planted that stuff, and it washed straight through the onion and potato side of the garden. So there's nothing that I can really do about that. It's just the way our property drains, but there's really nowhere else to put the garden, so those are the best things to have on that side if you're going to have that happen. My tomatoes, we have tomatoes on the plants. The tomatoes have mostly been doing okay. The pepper plants, I have bell peppers, sweet banana peppers, and a couple of jalapeno plants. The groundhog, our resident groundhog, has been munching away on a lot of the pepper plants. I finally bought some like rabbit wire or the rabbit fencing, and I cut that up and made cages for all of the pepper plants and to put around the one cherry tomato plant that I had, because he was eating that too. So those are all caged now. And then I also have yellow squash plants, which I had covered with sort of, not cages, but like the wire fencing over them. And so I was able to expand that. And so right now everything is pretty well protected from anybody who wants to nibble on things. Matter of fact, there were 2 rabbits down in the garden today, and there's like a whole bunch of clover and stuff that kind of grows right along the edge and into it a little bit. And they were down there. I'm like, you just go right ahead because you can't get any of the good stuff. So I had one little pepper that something had tried to eat. I don't know that it was an animal, though it might have been a bug, but I picked it. It was about that big. So we did have that in our salad the other night. And onions. There are tons of little yellow squash on those plants, though. I cannot wait until we can start eating those. That'll be amazing. So I think it's going to be a little while before the tomatoes ripen. And I have one volunteer cherry tomato plant that came up, you know, just from seeds that had fallen, or tomatoes that had fallen last year. So that's cool, and it's doing super well. So it's always nice when you get that volunteer that you didn't even have to work for. So see, so that's a happy thing. With everything else going on, at least my garden is doing fairly well. I've got some herbs up on the deck. The flowers that I put on the deck are really pretty. They're doing super well. So I had a volunteer sunflower that was coming up beautifully in one of the pots and had a head on it probably about that big. I looked out one day, the head was gone. Squirrel took the whole thing. It's growing other little sprouts, but now I'm noticing that he's also eating leaves off, so I don't have high hopes for that sunflower to actually do anything. But anyway, oh look, I've got a rosy glow from the sunset now coming in through the window. Isn't that nice? Anyway, I'm gonna go since I'm losing the light and time, and I'm sure my mom's gonna probably be home pretty soon. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base with you guys. Hopefully I'm gonna be able to get this process edited and processed and up soon. I don't want it to wait a week. But again, if you're one of those winners that I announced, please email me and I will get a prize out to you once you let me know what you would like. And yeah, if you have any comments or questions about anything I talked about today, please leave your comments down below the video. I will be happy to answer you. I have to double check and make sure I'm caught up from the last couple of videos actually, but anyway, yep. That's everything. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you once again to my members who help support this channel. I appreciate you so much, and hopefully it will not be a month before I talk to you the next time. Take care, guys. Bye.